All right. Are we live? Let's see. Is this mic set up? Wonder if we can hear on this. Let me see. Can you hear me? Okay, I think it's working. Hello, yeah, man. It's been a long time. Few reasons. So, YouTube changed it. Like just to do this, uh, I had to verify my YouTube account like 5 times. Like I don't understand it. It's like what's your stream key, and then here's use your streaming software. And then it's like verify it's you. Do you actually like you know maybe you're able to stream? Like it may take 48 hours. I'm like I've been streaming for 10 years. Like why is it so complicated now? So David, what's up? Yeah, Omega. Yeah, been around for a while. So uh, that's why I really haven't been doing cybercast. Few reasons. One, Diablo 4 came out, and so I've just been grinding that. Like, I think that came out in the first week of June. Like, I've already got 600 hours into that game, and I haven't even played the past month. But a new season 2 comes out tomorrow, so I'm gonna be grinding again. I wanted to stream it on YouTube, but it's like now my PlayStation's like we can't verify that it's you. You need to. I'm like, this is the same PlayStation account I've had for over a decade, same YouTube channel for over a decade. So I'm like, I don't understand why it doesn't work. I can stream on Twitch fine, but YouTube, like they change stuff. Like making things more technical isn't always for the better. At least that's what I think. So making toy reviews, like, dude, I've got the pace at which I pick up stuff now. Like I wouldn't be able to have a regular job and just to even get toy reviews out. Like I'm looking at like GI Joes that I need to open. There's let's see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, so 24, 48. There's like over 60 Joes I need to open up. There's probably another 30 Star Wars figures, some Transformer figures. I've got like 4 or 5 Gargoyles figures I haven't opened up, and now I got to go hunt down all those wings and find the folding ones because I love the massive wings on the neck of Gargoyles. But Jesus, there's no room to put them. Like you'd have to hang them from the ceiling. That's one thing I could figure out. And I don't want to put any more holes in the ceiling, so. Uh, what do I think of the new Star Wars content? I'm a huge Ahsoka fan, and Rick is a huge Ahsoka fan. Shatterglass Jazz, he loved it. He was all like, "Dude, like as soon as an episode ended, like he watched it like 3 or 4 more times." I was kind of like, "Dude, this is kind of mid," you know. I hadn't told him that, so I guess he'll hear it for the first time whenever if he watches this. But I'm like, Andor was good. I loved Andor because it was kind of like it was like a there was a mission, and it just seemed it was very interesting to me when I was watching it. I was like, hey, I'm enjoying this. Like I don't really care about many of the characters. Andor, from Rogue One, so I liked them in that, and I think Rogue One's probably the best Star Wars film that they put out since the first original trilogy. Uh, but I thought Ahsoka was mid. Um, let's see. Transformers Bumblebee was pretty good. If you haven't watched it, I did watch it. I watched it a couple times. It's all right. I still just want a movie with the first 5 minutes of Bumblebee. Like I want to see all those robots on Cybertron. I don't care if it's all CGI or whatever. Whatever that was, that's what I want a movie of. Like no humans. You could have maybe a couple if you want, or you could even do aliens. So you don't have to be humans. Like they put so much money into like let's get these big name characters, you know, or big name actors, and I'm like, that's wasted money. No one's going to watch a Transformers movie to see Shia LaBeouf or Megan Fox. I don't know. Some of y'all might go see that, but I don't. I go to a Transformers movie to see Transformers or Mark Wahlberg. Like I don't. They're just too corny. All the new Transformers stuff is. So that's what Bumblebee. It was pretty. It was pretty level. I like it. Uh, Clone Wars. Yeah, Clone Wars is good. Dave Filoni. I love him on the Star Wars stuff. Even though the Ahsoka series I thought was kind of mid, it might get better. Um, Ray Stevenson, I thought he carried that show. So, uh, oh, you love the Ahsoka, but it fizzed out with the plot. Yeah. You love the Star Wars Rebels, Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. See, I thought they were decent. Like whenever I watched it, they were short enough. I know some people were like, "Oh, I need like 12, 15 episodes." And I'm like, I mean, like 4 or 5 episodes is like a length of a movie. Like if you can't tell your story, like because all the movies, like here's kind of a beginning and end. There's usually continuation, onto the next one in the trilogy or whatever. But if you can't get your point across of what you're trying to tell the audience in like 2.5 hours, then I think you really failed at that point. So I'm fine with them doing like 7 episodes or 6 episodes or whatever they are. You're the only one that likes the Book of Boba Fett. I mean, thought it was all right. Like none of the series that I look at and be like, I hate this. I thought there were some corny parts, and some of them were stuff that I just thought was stupid. But um, it wasn't enough for me to be like, I'm quitting the series like in the middle of it. And they're short enough. Like if it was some 20 episode or 24 episode, like some of these seasons for some of these TV shows, uh, I probably wouldn't do that. So Cybertron 1 anime set to release in 2024, all G1C. That is something I will go watch in the theaters. So Beast Wars is a good cartoon despite the dated 3D animation. That might be part of the reason why I never could get past it. I've tried because, like, even before Dalton came on, Primal Sabbath Dakota, he used to always be like, dude, you got to watch Beast Wars, man. He goes, the story is so good. And I'm like, I've tried to watch it a couple times. And I get about 2 or 3 episodes in, and I'm just like, this animation is, man, it's brutal to watch. I like the cartoon animation, the cell shaded or whatever. I just thought that was better than, the 3D animation. I think that it was kind of coming out at that time, but it wasn't really perfected yet. I think if they would have waited before they would have tried some 3D animation stuff, then, where it was a little bit more up to date. Not saying it had to be perfect, but a little bit better, then the show would have been, even more enjoyable. The people that like me, to where I'm like, it's an eyesore, even if the story's great. So, who's your favorite Transformer character besides Optimus Prime and Bumblebee? Well, neither of those are my favorite Transformer. Are you talking about character? God, I love Galvatron. I love Six Shot from the Japanese animated series because I don't think he said a word in the American release. And I don't know, 30 seconds he was on screen. Or I don't even think he was on screen for 30 seconds, maybe 20 seconds. All he did was like transform into six different things, and I think that was it. So, and that little season 4, 3 episode thing, the rebirth. Uh, but I love Six Shot in that. God, dude, Transformers is deep. Like I like Rumble. I think he's funny. Uh, Ravage, like Ravage doesn't say anything. It's just a jaguar. Uh, but it's a just the way it's kind of like R2D2. Ravage is to where R2D2 doesn't talk, but his little like beep beep, and just head turns and stuff. It says a lot. So whenever they're able to capture something like that, and they did it, in the cartoon, I think it's an interesting character. So, and the way it looks at Starscream all the time. So, I won't say those are, I've got more favorites. Maybe those aren't all necessarily my favorite, but those are ones that I really like, just off the top of my head. So, Soundwave, obviously, everyone loves Soundwave. Are you caught up with the MCU from Phase 1 to Phase 2? Man, I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know what Phase 3 is. So, I have Hulu, so they jacked up the Hulu rates, and then at the same time said that, hey, we're giving you Disney Plus for free, which I'm like, it's not really free if you're raising the rates, So, so whenever something hits on that, I'll give it a watch. Marvel movies aren't really my thing. I like Spider-Man, I like X-Men, and other than that, like I thought Winter Soldier was awesome. Maybe the first Iron Man. The other two I didn't like. I hated Iron Man 3. And I know some people have told me like Iron Man 3 is their favorite, and I'm like, why? He's just Tony Stark, like 3/4 of the movie. He's hardly ever Iron Man in that. So, but Thor movies, like those don't interest me. But I've watched them, So, Lone Dragon, what's up? The story is so good they drop the reason they needed the beast forms after season 1. Okay. See, Dakota's trying to talk to me about it, and like he'll have conversations with Dalton and other people. I know Rick, he watches, basically he consumes it all. But whenever they start talking about Beast Wars or even comics, because a lot of them, they collect comics, and I did it was when I was a kid. I don't know if it wasn't really collecting. I bought what I thought had a cool cover and I wanted to read. But I don't have any of those anymore, and I don't go buy comics anymore. So, but whenever they start talking about comics or Beast Wars and stuff, I just kind of tune it out and wait for the next conversation. So whenever we're in our little DM group chat or whatever. Have you watched Transformers Animated or Transformers Prime? I love Transformers Prime. Got a little weird there at the end with the Beast Hunters or whatever that was called. Transformers Prime was awesome. I think that got a lot. Everyone says like, "Hey, the Michael Bay movies got everyone back." I don't think that necessarily got people. That may have gotten new people that were just like, "Hey, it's a sci-fi movie during the summer." Transformers, I think I've heard of those. Maybe my dad played with them or whatever, because that's how long it took them to come out with a live action movie. But Transformers Prime was, I think, the hook. That and those Fall of Cybertron games that got a lot of like people like me, to where like we're diving deep back into Transformers and stuff again, because I thought that they were so good. I think Transformers Prime is the best cartoon, if you call it that, or series for Transformers. That, in my opinion. But I mean, I've only done G1 and the Japanese G1s, and Prime. Basically, I think it's better than Prime or G1. So Prime is just really good. Animated, I try to watch a couple episodes. It's not really my thing, so. or what was it two? Let's see. Animated Blitzwing is clearly the best Transformer character. I'll have to take your word on that. I know. I think I had the toy at one point. Someone had sold me like just a huge collection in box. Like I think 80% of them, maybe more than that, 90% of them were in box. They were still open, but he still kept the boxes for them and everything. And it was a huge lot of like, I don't know, maybe 30 figures or something, 25, 30 figures. And I just bought them all up. And then I was having trouble like tracking down characters that I was like, I think Blitzwing is one that I wanted, and I never could find it for a price that I thought was right. And so eventually I was just like, well, I haven't really added to this collection in a couple of years that I owned it. So I eventually ended up just selling it all off. So along with my G1 collection too. So there's a lot of stuff I sold off. Air Raiders, Starcom stuff, my Sectars collection, just uh, didn't have the room for stuff anymore. Especially with vehicles, things that or they had vehicles like Air Raiders and Starcom and Sectars, those big insects. Like, dude, they take up so much space. So, you collect Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy toys. Your favorites: the Earthrise, Optimus Prime, Siege Megatron, Earthrise, Starscream, and Beast Wars characters. See, I always forget they have changed the name every single year to where I don't remember. Whenever I look at like say one of my DTOFs, like I put all the headmasters together, right? All the Super God Master Force series, the Headmaster series together, Victory, which little victory they have, kind of like the G1, kind of like all the Seekers are together with Soundwave and Megatron, uh, and then a lot of my Japanese stuff together. So whether it came out in what was it called? Like Type Masters or something? Like if it came out Type Masters or if it came out in Earthrise or what? Dude, I have no idea. I just forget. So whether they come out in different lines or not, if it's say for example 2 Headmasters, I'm like y'all going on the shelf together. So MCU Phase 3 is when Thanos finally showed up. Okay, yeah, then I've seen all those. I think I've seen all the Marvel movies. Like, I'm not a big fan, so I just kind of watch it. I'm like, all right, so this is the thing. All right. Yeah, the conclusion I thought was good, of that. So I don't know where they move on from here, but I guess I'll figure something out. After watching Transformers animated, I realized the majority of the Autobots, with the exception of Optimus Prime, crew, not as noticeable. Yeah, there's a lot of Autobots like skids, like he's in the cartoon for was it 5 seconds or something? I don't know. Like they just like if you blink, you'll miss them. And he wasn't popular as a toy or known as a toy either, because he was, I believe, in Wave One, or not Wave One, but like the first year that they released the Transformer figures. I think it was just like a whole year was like Wave One or something. But he was the last figure to be released for that year. So like a lot of people, they got him in late, and then like here was coming the next year's toys, 85, and they were like he went immediate to clearance, like got to get him out or don't want him, bring in the 85 stuff for season 2. So like that's one of the reasons why he's not as popular. Also, he's not that cool looking, but yeah, a lot of the mini bots, they don't get a whole lot of screen time. Like I think Tailgate's one that I don't really remember seeing too much. Some get more than others just because of what happens in the episode in G1. they're needed, like Cosmos for certain like space missions whenever they couldn't go to space, stuff like that. So, Beast Wars saved Transformers from extinction. That's what Dakota always says. So, I'll just agree with you. Sure. Uh, Not as many people like the Transformers animated because of the art style. Yeah, I know Derek J. Wyatt. Like we used to have him on the Cybercast a few times, and I believe he passed a few years ago. So um, I mean, he's done a couple art things for me that I have, but it was it was a little too cartoony for me. That looked like it was for someone younger. Uh, like I think it's free on Tubi, like Tubi. A lot of like cartoons, like Transformers G1, uh, GI Joe, Conan, a ton of stuff like Tom and Jerry, Scooby Doo. All that stuff's on Tubi. If you don't have one of those, that's a free streaming account thing. So it's on there as well. So one day I might give it a watch. Kind of watching some other stuff right now. Uh, let's see. The human villains and animated were stupid. Well, the humans in a lot of the Transformer cartoons are kind of stupid. Like, what was it? Transformers Prime, the annoying one, wasn't it Miko or something like that? The chick with the purple hair that's always messing stuff up because like you stay here, this is gonna be dangerous, and then all of a sudden she'd always like hide herself in somebody's car or whatever. I don't know. They always have annoying humans in these Transformer uh, shows. I guess they're supposed to be comedic relief or whatever. Um, why is it taking so long for the X-Men to show up in the MCU? I think they got to get it right. Like I think they were rushing so many things to where it seemed like every 2 months they were coming out with a new Marvel movie. To where I think people just got fatigued. Like I know I did. Like there's other stuff out there, and I'm not trying to go to the movie theaters like every 2 months anyway. So I did go to the movie theater recently. I went and saw The Creator. It was pretty good. I think whenever I watched, okay, whenever I watched the preview, I think I was expecting something a little bit different. But let's see. Do I watch anime? No. Like as far as like today, traditional anime, I don't. I know that in my old YouTube review videos, I would always talk about Transformer G1 figures and be like, yeah, he was like this in the anime. And I only did it because I knew it would piss people off because they get real sensitive about that stuff. And they're like, it's not anime. I'm like, well, what does anime stand for? And they're like, well, it's animation, but it's Japanese animation. I'm like, yes, Transformers G1 is Japanese animation. So it's anime. So I know that's not what they meant, but I knew it would get under people's skin. So Transformer Studio series started with Bayverse and then moved to the 86 Transformer movie. Yeah, I do like the 86 movie stuff. I wish they would just focus on let's get it right, and then like that figure's done, let's move on to a different character. We've got Ultra Magnus like 3 or 4 times. They're like, here's this version, and then it's like, all right, well that one looks like that's the winner right there. And then they're like, yeah, we changed up a little bit of the colors, on this one. Was like, well, that one looks better. So same mold, but looks better. Let me buy that one. Yeah, now I've got my Ultra Magnus. Let's move on to another character. And then they're like, we improved colors and we remolded it a little bit, and now it's like a ultimate version. It's like, please let this be the last Ultra Magnus. You can't keep making me buy the same character and they're like 80, $90 a piece. That's, you know, you should have done this last one from the get go. So um, that's the only thing that irritates me a little bit with them. So, and then that's whenever you go buy it, because there's no window anymore with these big box ones. And then, you buy it, you get home, you open it, and you're like, someone swapped out the different transformer, like the old one in here. Like you'll see it still whenever they had clamshells. Like in Walmart, I'd go in and I'd be like, "Oh, well, here's this figure," and I'm like, "And that's the wrong character in here, and it doesn't even match up with the artwork." But for some reason, Walmart or Target took it back anyway and put it on the shelf. I'd pull it off the shelf. I'd hand it to someone at customer service. I'm like, "Yeah, this isn't the character that's supposed to be in here." And they're like, "Are you trying to turn it?" I'm like, "No, I'm pulling it from your aisle, toy aisle, and I'm bringing it to you to let you know that you shouldn't have this on the shelf, because this isn't what people are buying. This is like an old figure, which it's not even transformed properly. It's probably broken." And then I go back the next week and it's back on the shelf again. So I just kind of quit after that. Let's see, where were you? During development of Transformers Prime Season 3, the Star Seekers were supposed to be main villains, not the Beast. Star Seekers. I don't even, it's been a while since I watched Transformer Prime, so I don't even remember what Star Seekers are. Uh, who do you think the damsel in distress of the Autobots? Cosmos or Perceptor? Perceptor. Yeah, that's a good call. Are X-Men comics for mature audiences? I think they are a little bit, because there's a little bit of politics in it. They address in X-Men. They address like kind of some real world issues, I guess you could say. Like I'm not gonna get all political or anything, but like they mistreating of mutants and stuff like that, and they want to be treated the same or whatever. So to where, as a kid, I didn't, I didn't know it. As an adult, you can read the comics and you can be like, okay, I kind of read between the lines. I see what, there's something here for mature audiences. But at the same time, as a kid, like I wasn't thinking about that. I'm just like, it's they're awesome mutants. They have cool costumes, and the Rogue is awesome. Uh, so I think it can be for X-Men is for younger and adult audiences. Like both can enjoy it while enjoying something completely different. So you want annoying animated? Had a little girl villain named Professor Princess. Well, yeah, I guess the name kind of sounds like it would be annoying. Right off the bat, you told me that there's a character named Professor Princess, and I'm like, yeah, that's an annoying one. I don't even have to know anything about the character. Maybe you watch Transformers Earthspark on Paramount Plus, and it has the best standout of humans actually get involved in battles. I haven't tried Earthspark, so I'll probably pass on that one. I did watch a little. I think I watched 2 seasons of the robots or Bumblebees, Robots in Disguise or something, which is a little cartoony. Uh, there was a couple cool characters in it, but it was definitely made for like younger audiences. Everything from Marvel, Phase 4, except for maybe Spider-Man: No Way Home, are not that great. Yeah, I would assume so. You have the Transformers 86 Grimlock, and he's pretty good. Yeah, I like him. I've got him. What, I think it's Sludge over there. I haven't. I have in. Yeah, it's got to be Sludge because he's the only one that I haven't opened out of box, and Swoop hasn't come out yet. So uh, that's the only Transformer that I've gotten in that I haven't opened recently. So, but yeah, Grimlock's a really good one. Improve the colors. The front bumper and back of the cab look terrible in red. Do they? I haven't gotten the new Ultra Magnus yet, so um, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with this old one first. Before I go out and buy another $80 Ultra Magnus, or I don't even know how much they are anymore. Uh, who do you blame for the death of Optimus Prime? Hot Rod, Megatron, or Hasbro? Uh, Hasbro, because Megatron pulled the trigger. Hot Rod didn't do what he was supposed to do. Hasbro are the ones that wrote those characters, and they're the ones that were like, uh, let's kill off these Diaclone, characters, and now we'll bring in our own molds and our own characters, and that'll make us more money, and we don't have to pay, you know, be borrowing the mode from Diaclone and all the other Japanese robot companies from back then, and it was a massive failure in the movie because I was in theaters when that movie came out in '86. I believe my grandma took me, and when that happened, about half the theater got up and left, like kids just crying and just like, let's leave. So that was so bad that they were having a GI Joe movie, excuse me, uh, come out later, and Duke was gonna die, and they ended up changing it at the last moment to where he only got like injured or sick or something. Anyways, Duke didn't die because they were like, yeah, and we got to figure out how in season 3 to bring Optimus Prime back because, yeah, that sucks. So, Optimus Prime is supposed to be the kind-hearted, noble leader in G1 and beyond. But Bayverse ruined his character. You watch G1 as a kid, that's the way you kind of think of Optimus Prime, and not to say he's not, but you watch it as an adult, and you're like, dude, this dude yells at everybody all the time. He's always yelling at like all the people under him, which is everyone. So I don't know. Like I can say because I'm bipolar. It seemed like he's bipolar to where like one minute he can be like, "Hey, yeah, you're doing a really good job over here," with that, and then like something happens, and then he'll just light you up and just start yelling at you. So you go back and watch it as an adult, you're like, you'll see that, and you'll be like, okay, well, he wasn't. Not saying he wasn't nice, but I don't know. He had a short fuse that a lot of people didn't remember as kids. So, Star Seekers are the space pirates. Man, I don't even remember. It's been a while since I watched Prime, and I've probably watched that series. I don't know, 4 or 5 times. So, uh, it's been a while though. It's been a few years. Load, you said I pulled a swap wrestling figure from the shelf and gave it to the employees 3 times, and it was always back on the shelf next time I went in. Dude, it happens so much. Now they don't even do that. They quit putting the little window in the front, and any of the figures, it doesn't matter what they are. All their heads are missing. So it's like, what are people doing with all these heads of these action figures? Is what I would like to know. So, but if you got the windowless box there, they're like, there's a free head, and I don't know. Maybe they're making necklaces or what are those little charm bracelets or whatever. They just got a bunch of action figure heads or something like that. I don't know what they're doing with them. So, I thought Cosmos was the damsel in distress. I mean, sure, but I mean, he also saved them. Uh, a couple times. What was that? The I forget what the episode's called, but the dude's name is Burger. I can always remember that because like a hamburger. Uh, but like Megatron promises this human burger like all this stuff, and then they also mirrored that in the third movie. What is it? Dark Side of the Moon. Is that the third Bayverse one? I think. I think it was that. I think it was that one. But anyways, Burger and they convince like, hey, Autobots are the bad guys and Decepticons are actually the good guys, and so they send all the Autobots into space, and then they redirect it to the sun, and then Cosmos has to put them in a or Hound puts them in a force field, and then Cosmos carries them. So kind of Cosmos kind of saved everyone there, you know. Uh, so I would still say Perceptor. Is the one that is always needing rescued. Uh, what I uh, what I didn't like about the X Men cartoon and movies is that Cyclops is always a bossy jerk. Yeah, I mean Cyclops, and you got his girl Jean, and then Wolverine is it's like kind of like me and the dude you're not supposed to be worried about, Wolverine. So it's like this dude, he lives next, like in the room next to you, and he's always like, anytime you leave your girlfriend alone, for 5 seconds, this dude's like all up on her, and she's kind of likes to flirt back and stuff. So, uh, yeah, I can understand why he's always yelling at everybody. Uh, when Stan Lee was creating the X Men, he originally wanted to call them the mutants. Uh, I mean, interesting fact. I'm glad it went with X Men. It's just a cool name. It's catchy. The mutants. Like if you just put that out there, you're not really sure what you're gonna expect. The X Men, you're like, okay, what is this? You know. Uh, what happened to Arachnid after Transform Prime ended? Wasn't she on like some moon, and then a bunch of other kind of like robots or zombie robots were on there too, or something? I think that's something like that. So, what do you call the who do you call Dinobot, Triceratops, Slag, or Slug? Well, he was Slag here in the U.S. I know in UK that they named him Slug because apparently slag over there means like prostitute or something like that. So I've always called him Slag. That's what he was as a toy over here. That's what he was in the cartoon. Uh, so he's Slag. So if they don't want to call him Slag in Europe or whatever, I mean, whatever, that's on them. So, and we both, I guess we both know who we're talking about. If you name someone, if you called someone Slug or Slag, if you called him Slug, it might take me a minute to, you know, realize who you're talking about. Uh, which Star Wars bad guys are like space Nazis, Galactic Empire, or First Order? Uh, like space Nazis. Probably First Order. Because they just wanted to completely annihilate the rebellion. I mean, they're both bad guys or whatever, but First Order was just like eliminate like and just tyranny, just all these towns or whatever. Even any word that hey you may be hiding a rebel person, then just kill everybody. Um, to where at least Galactic Empire, when it started out, was to bring a big nation or whatever or something. I mean, they're both bad guys, so you can't really justify either one of them. So, But I would just say the way that First Order went about it uh, was, I mean, they both blew up planets, so neither one of them were good. He's gone into a coma. No, not yet. So, who do you think is the Star Wars sequel trilogy as a whole, or what do you think of the Star Wars sequel trilogy as a whole? Are you talking about the new ones, the 7, 8, 9? I thought 7 was had some interesting characters. I thought 7 had some interesting characters. It was all right. I enjoyed it. 8 I thought was terrible, and 9 I didn't think was that great either. Like it just seemed like it was a rush together. We don't know really how to end this, so Emperor's back, and it it was a long movie, but for such a long movie, it seemed like, hey, we're just gonna like we gotta push all this stuff in here, and you know what? Let's just try to mirror the original trilogy as much as possible. Uh, they should have just never done it. Like 1, 2, and 3, the prequels, they're justified. It's a good story, but it should have ended after episode 6, in my opinion. So, I mean, I like the added additions of Rogue One. I don't think we needed the solo movie, to be honest. But if they wanted to, because there's huge gaps in between the prequel and original trilogy, if they just wanted to add like little movies, like kind of like Rogue One, I think that would have been better. But they're like, no, it's got to be a trilogy that'll make the money, and uh, as a whole, if I have to group them as a trilogy, it's the worst one. Uh, let's see. Hold on to the heads and try to get their bodies on clearance. Dude, we got a Ollie's here now, and dude, there's a ton of cheap figures over there. Unfortunately, whenever something comes out, I usually buy it right then, so I don't wait for stuff to go on sale. I'm just like, I want this. I know I want it. I'm buying it. I know not everyone does that, but Ollie's, dude, they had tons of stuff. Like we're talking Transformers, Marvel Legends, like good stuff. GI Joe classified figures. Uh, if they had troop builders, then I probably would have bought some of those. But they didn't. They didn't have any troop builders, and they just characters already had. Uh, they had Beast War like reissues there, and like all that stuff was cheap too. Like I think the reissue of Tigertron Beast Wars like $10. The Optimus Primal, the reissue of the original, $15. So stuff is cheap. Uh, After Casey Kasem voiced the Thief of the Night, he walked away from the Transformers movie. Uh, I don't think I remember that, but Thief of the Night. Uh, I don't remember which episode that is. So, Trollbreaker has to be a force field, not Hound. Was it Trollbreaker? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Hound does the. He does the whatever the projector, where whatever. What do you call it? What Hound does is like he projects like a little fake thing or whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Cliff Jumper headlines in the movie. Yeah, my favorite video game to play are the Super Mario series, Sonic the Hedgehog, Uncharted, Crash Bandicoot, Legend of Zelda series. Uh, I mean, those are all good games. I never really got into the Sonic stuff. I didn't have a Genesis for one. Uh, Legend of Zelda, like the last Legend of Zelda or Zelda game that I played uh, was it? It was for the Super Nintendo, so that tells you a lot. I haven't had a Nintendo since Super Nintendo. Uh, so I've just had PlayStations and Xbox since they started coming out. Uh, Gaming, like, dude, I used to play a ton of Overwatch, and I just got burned out on that. Even when the new seasons come, I'm just like, I even loaded it up today because the new season started, and I'm like, I mean, what's the point? You know, like, I'm not gonna get through this battle pass. I'm not gonna buy any of the skins because there's $20 for a skin, like for a cheap skin. Like, that's stupid. Like, for three skins, that's the price of a game. So that doesn't make any sense to me. And you can't earn them the way you used to. So, like, it's just like, what's the point? And then Diablo starts tomorrow. So, and then once that starts, I'm gonna be like, I took vacation this week to play it. So, uh, also, I'm getting two new kittens tomorrow. Diablo comes out for the week, and then I'm going to Six Flags this coming weekend. So, I just took the week off. So, oh, and my kittens are going to be named Rumble and Frenzy. So, uh, what I didn't know that before Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney's first cartoon character was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit in 1927. I did not know that. I imagine that there was several characters. So, uh, David, still collecting fans toys, so close to the G1 completion. Good, man. They still doing those headmasters and target masters? No, wait, who was it? No, that was Fans Project. That, like, every, you guys remember watching the panels at TFCon, and every, like, every year this was like for like, it seemed like 4 years in a row. They were like, all right, Fans Project, here's these other headmasters, that, and target masters that are coming out, to finish up this headmasters collection or whatever. And they never came out. And then the next year, they're like, they put the same panels or slides in, and then they did it again the next year, and the next one, and then I think at that by that point they were just like quit putting them in. So I wonder if those ever came out. I never looked into it. I just thought it was funny. In my opinion, Bruce Timm's DC animated universe was way better storytelling than the DCEU. Dude, yes. I watched that recently too. So, like, Bruce Timm's Batman the animated series, the Superman animated series. If you go with the Justice League Unlimited, those are all excellent. I love that. That whole universe is fantastic, and like all the episodes too. Especially with the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, like, they're so good. I enjoyed Young Justice for maybe the first two seasons, especially the first season, and then I don't know what the hell happened to it. So it got crappy real quick. So I quit watching it. Star Wars Legends was way better. Sequel trilogy. It was called Thrawn Trilogy Books. Yeah. So any of the Thrawn series, that stuff's good. One of the biggest missed opportunities for the Star Wars sequel trilogy is not incorporating the Mortius gods from the Clone Wars cartoon. I don't remember them, but I'm sure if I saw them, I'd remember it. So that was the other thing about this Ahsoka series is I was just like waiting for when's Ventress popping up, because she's one of my favorite characters too. She kind of goes hand in hand with Ahsoka. That's why maybe why I like the characters so much is they're good characters individually, but together they're even better. So they kind of outshine all the other characters individually. So except for maybe like Han and Chewie, like those are two characters good on their own, together makes them even better. So, uh, one of the biggest missed opportunities of the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Oh, I already read that one. Uh, Lone Dragon, I could use some of those $5 Crimson Guards, but my Ollie's only has $13 Lady J's and Snake Eyes movie figures. Yeah, my classifieds were 9.99, so basically $10, and it was just the Lady J and the Snake Eye movie figures. Um, I'm curious to see if any of the other ones drop. Like I said, they drop Clone Trooper or not Clone Troopers, Army Builders, then those are going to go quick. Like I'm sure, like someone will tweet about it, and then everyone will be hitting their ollies, along with me too. So, oh, and Crimson Guard, yeah, just any troop builders, uh, because even if like I troop build, I know you can see some back here. Stuff is falling over, so and I've been too lazy to pick it back up. So, uh, but anytime you get any of the troops, even if you're like, you know what, I just don't have the room to put these extra troops in my collection, you can always sell them, and someone will always buy them. So for a very basic character, it's not like an individual character. Like they're the best selling, I think. Uh, do you know why Jason Todd was not in Batman the animated series? I mean, I I don't have any personal insight on that, so I don't know. Lone Dragon, yeah, holograms. That's what I meant. Yeah, with Hound. Yeah, I was like the little he projects the little thing, like the fake stuff. Yeah, hologram. So that's what I meant. Yeah. Only saw Transformers the last night once in theaters. I watched it twice, unfortunately. I watched the last night. It may have been in theaters. I'm not sure. I think so. And then I watched it recently, like within a year, and I was like, God, this thing is terrible. So, uh, God, they must have paid Anthony Hopkins so much money to do that because I can't imagine him looking at his script and being like, "Yeah, this seems like a good role. Yeah, I'll definitely do this movie." So, um, I gotta imagine that he probably cringes at it anytime like it comes up, and if he's watched it, I doubt he even did. I think he did it, and he was just like, "Give me my bag of money, and let's never talk about this again." Let's see. Dalton, what's up? Fans Project is dead. It seems only thing new they've done is that G2 Stunticon's releasing one a year at TFCon. That makes sense. I remember when Fans Project was like the third party. This is like before like Fans Toys and all this stuff, and they started off with just doing add-on kits. The big one that they did was um, the add-on kit for the Ultra Magnus figure, whatever. I used to have it. I don't have it anymore. I eventually sold it, uh, but that was one that I always wanted because it came out. They reissued it several times, and one time when they reissued it, I ended up picking it up, and I thought it looked so cool and so stylized and different, like something you'd see like out of a IDW comic. But eventually, they started doing their own figures and stuff. And they did well for a while. I know. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but used to talk to him often. TJ Duckett, he loved Fan Project. I asked him, I was like, "What if Fans Project released just some crazy color Bruticus or whatever?" I was like, because he had like all the different colors of Bruticus that Fans Project did add-on kits with all that stuff. I'm like, what if they just did some ridiculous stuff that doesn't even make sense, like Pekin Brown? And he's like, I'd buy it. So he loved them. So Have you watched Tales of the Jedi on Disney Plus? Tales of the Jedi. Which one? Okay, I know because they've come out with. Which one is this? Okay, yeah, yeah, I did watch that. I liked it. Uh, I did like Tales of the Jedi. There was another one. It was a little cartoon series um, where they were little shorts. Uh, they're even coming out with a season two, which I have no idea why. Uh, but they were like individual, like little stories, and they were all done by different artists or something. You know what I'm talking about? Uh, Star Wars Visions. There's like two episodes in there that are good. The rest is trash, and they got a season two. So I have no idea. Like maybe people were watching something different than I was watching, but uh, well, let's not forget Batman Beyond. Yes, Batman Beyond was awesome. Uh, man, like the Bruce Timm stuff, man, they were just bangers, like one after another. So, what went wrong with the DCEU? Are you talking about the Snyderverse stuff? Uh, I mean, they're coming in on the tail end of like I said, all those Marvel movies where they were releasing like a Marvel movie like every 2 months it seemed, or 2 or 3 months. Like it was nuts, and I think people got superhero fatigued. Toward the end of whatever the Thanos stuff, people were like, all right, let's wrap this up. So they're going to see them all because they're like, you keep on like, we know that it's like all one big group, like it's an individual movie, but hey, it's joined to this, and people are already invested. Several movies in, so they're like, all right, I guess I'll go see another one. Uh, Regardless if they liked it or not, they just went and saw it. Uh, Whereas like DC come out, and they're coming out with their own thing, and they're starting fresh, and people are just kind of like, dude, I don't know if I can do a whole new one. I personally, like I said, other than Spider-Man and X-Men, DC is my favorite. I love their characters a lot more. They're more interesting to me. But I I thought the DC movies were good when Snyder was doing them. I thought the Flash movie was a little bit better than what people said it was. The Blue Beetle movie, I didn't think was that great, and I like Blue Beetle. I know Mike said that he goes, "It's awesome. It's the best DC movie they put out in years," and I'm like, again, that goes to, I don't know if I'll watch the same movie as you, but I didn't think it was that great. But the Snyderverse take on the Justice League movie, man, that sucker's awesome. So I would have liked them to let Snyder finish it up. So, but they made some weird choices uh, with their casting, in my opinion. Like Jesse, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. What is it, Eidenberg or something? Is Lex Luthor? Like I thought that was a weird casting. Just there's just a bunch of weird castings. I think Jason Momoa as Aquaman is probably their best casting, and Henry Cavill as Superman. That was another great casting, and Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman, another great casting. But on the other ones, I didn't necessarily ever like the Ben Affleck casting for Batman, even though I thought he did all right. Uh, the Flash, I mean, that's its own deal. So, uh, Cyborg, I don't know a whole lot about him. I think they missed the opportunity to get a John Stewart Green Lantern because that's my favorite Green Lantern. So, let's see. Have you watched the original Indiana Jones films? Oh yeah, tons. I thought that new one should not have. I think the last two shouldn't have been made. Crystal Skull, which it's kind of interesting, but it's it's nowhere in comparison to the original three. And this last one, it shouldn't have been made. I would even say Kingdom of the Crystal Skull shouldn't have been made either. So I don't. Some people may love them. I don't. So uh, again, same with the Star Wars. Like it should have ended at six. You know, you can insert movies like Rogue One here and there, little one-offs, but the trilogy has ended. You know, and that is it. It's over. Seven, eight, nine should have never been made. Same with Indiana Jones. It ended at Last Crusade. That should have been it. Now, if they wanted to do like young Indiana Jones, like they had that TV series or something like that, they could have done something interesting with that, right? But these last two, I don't know, they're too far out there for me. So, what do you think of the IDW Transformer comics? Again, like I don't buy comics anymore, so I remember Dakota used to bring over like these big books that had like what do they call it, omnibus or something like that. I don't collect comics, so I don't know exactly what they're called. But where it had like I don't know, like 20 comics and like one hardcover book. And when he came over and stayed the night one time, he I don't know, he brought like 10 of these things over or something like that. These heavy books. Uh, I guess he thought we were just gonna stay up all night reading these books or whatever, but I was just like, all right. I didn't even crack them open. He had to haul them all back to his car. He goes, "What if I knew you weren't going to read them? You know, I would have never brought them." I'm like, "I never told you I was going to read them, so that's your fault." So, uh, let's see. Fantastic Four 2005 was good. Rise of the Silver Surfer was okay. Fantastic Four 2015 was crap. I mean, they were only the Fantastic Four for like the last 15 minutes of the movie, so uh, it was it seemed like they were trying to be like, this is going to be our build up movie. And then it's the second movie on the 2015 one, like the second one that we come out with, that'll be the Fantastic Four. Where, again, I go see a superhero movie, I get that you got to set it up or whatever. You know, like Peter Parker's got to get bit by a radioactive spider, become Spider Man, learn his powers and stuff. But I don't want to, if it's 2 hour movie, I don't want to watch an hour and a half of Peter Parker, you know, learning how to become a teenager and stuff like that, and you know how dating is, you know, it's hard, you know, as a kid and stuff. And then last 30 minutes, he's Spider Man and he takes on somebody. I'm like, dude, that's way too much. Like your little intro should be 30 minutes, and then the last hour and a half should be I'm watching Spider Man, you know, and or whatever, you know. So I just the build ups to these movies sometimes whenever they're like, all right, we're re-kicking the Fantastic Four back off again. It's like, dude, 3/4 of that movie is just they're not the Fantastic Four. So that's why I think that movie. One, I think that you've lost the audience too, because people that enjoyed Fantastic Four is even older than I am, and I'm 41. So that's one thing. Transformers Legacy has finally made a worthy updated Minosaur. Yeah, that's a good Minosaur. I like him. The front of his legs, you know, with a little. I always like the cars on the front, even though I know that's not the way it's designed. But I always like the cars on the front because it something something nice to look at instead of just gray legs. He reminds me of from soccer. You know, I was like, you know, you're running around, you have your jersey on, you have your shorts on, and then there's your knees, and then these shin guards. You know, these big shin guards. Everybody can see that they're your shin guards. You know, that's what they look. He looks like. He looks like a soccer player with just gray shin guards. You know, I would have liked the, even though it's not the way it's supposed to be. Give me an option to put the cars on the front, just so I have something nice to look at. You put them in the back. like, why did I even buy the cars? Because we put them on the shelf, and now you can't see two of the cars. So it's a little silly to me. Uh, Breath of the Wild is one of your favorite Nintendo games on the Switch. Yeah, Rick, he plays that. He loves it. So I don't have a Switch. Uh, one of my brothers does, and one of my nephews has a Switch. I actually bought Breath of the Wild for my nephew. He may like it. I don't know. He hasn't told me he did or not. I was gonna buy him the new one this year for Christmas, so or his birthday. That may be a good decision, or he may be like, "Why don't you get me another one of these games?" So yeah, Star Wars Visions. Yeah, uh, kind of makes me think of the Star Wars version of Love, Death, and Robots. Yeah, kind of. It kind of had that, but like with Love, Death, and Robots, a lot of those are interesting. Like, let's say they come out with whatever 8, 10 episodes for Love, Death, and Robots. 8 out of 10 are bangers, and with two of them being like, you know, the Star Wars Visions was opposite. It was like you got two bangers here, the others they're complete garbage. So, uh, Alien and Aliens are masterpieces in my opinion. Everything else is crap. Uh, yeah, so I 2 weeks ago rewatched all the Alien series again. Alien and Aliens, the two best ones, right? Alien 3 is terrible. It's just garbage. And what's the other one called? Alien Resurrection or something like that. So it's it's kind of crap too, but it's kind of good. Okay, so hear me out on this. I'm watching it, and it also you benefit from having to watch Alien 3 before you watch Alien Resurrection because Alien 3 is so terrible and had terrible CGI for the alien to where it didn't even match up, like the colors and stuff. Like whenever you watch it, you're like, it was like a terrible projection, like where they were like, they did it, and then it was like, all right, let's go to editing, let's make sure this thing looks good, and they're like, nope, it's good enough. We need this sucker to be on screen right away. So, but Alien Resurrection, if they wouldn't have added the part at the end where her alien kid or whatever it was, if they wouldn't have had that part in there, if it would have just been, here's these space pirates, they come on to this ship base, whatever, and they have aliens there, and it's kind of like Alien 1, to where there's multiple aliens and they're trying to just fight them off and get to an escape ship or something like that. It would have just been, hey, it's a good alien movie, right? But then they added all this weird stuff to it to where it muddied it. So let's see. Jesse Eisenberg, I did not like him as Lex Luthor. Yeah, agreed. Because he is not the cunning villain from the comics. Yeah, I didn't like Jesse Eisenberg. That's what his last name is. The Green Lantern movie was so awful. Yeah, it's bad. I like this is so they did Hal Jordan, right? Ryan Reynolds in the Green Lantern movie. If they would have done Jon Stewart, it would have been so much better. Because you could have shown how he was in the military and stuff like that. Like again, you go back and you watch the Bruce Timm Justice League, series, or Justice League Unlimited. They're together. It's basically season 1, season 2, type thing. There's even one part or an episode wherever he loses his ring or the charge to his ring, so he can't beat Green Lantern. But he's like, look, I'm still, I think it was a Marine. Whenever it goes and it's like, hey, need to help, and it was like, okay, the Justice League tells him, hey, you can just stay on the side since you don't have your powers. He was like, dude, I was still a Marine and still am a Marine. Like I can still help in this conflict. So just he's a more interesting character to me. So I like him more. If they do a Green Lantern John Stewart movie, I'll go see that. So uh, the other superhero teams in DC Comics like Teen Titans, Metal Men, and Doom Patrol, I quit on Doom Patrol. I watched the first season. I was like, I think no, I watched the first two seasons, I think, and I was just like, I'm done with this. I don't care if they come out with more. I was like, I'm not interested in Doom Patrol at all. So I thought it was boring. Never watched Teen Titans. George Lucas wanted the Star Wars prequels and original trilogy to be the definitive story from beginning to end, and that's it. That's what should have happened. So, but whenever Disney bought it from them or Lucasfilm or whatever for what was it like $6 billion or something like that, uh, Disney had no choice but to pump out as much Star Wars content as absolutely possible and so fast and that they they just they're in a lose lose situation. I think to where they had to make the movies to try to make their start getting their revenue back because they paid so much for this stuff. But whenever George Lucas sold it, he was like, "Yep, there's not a whole lot to do after that." And, so I'll just take this free $6 billion. Terminator 1 and 2 are masterpieces. Everything else is crap. I agree with that. I did enjoy the Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles for what it was. The little TV series. I think it was only one season, if I'm correct. Thought it was all right. It was entertaining to watch. I guess you could say. The other Terminator movies, yeah, they suck. All of them. Yeah, Lone Dragon says Sarah Connor Chronicles was great. Yeah, see, yeah. So I'm not the only one. We may be the only two, but we're not the only ones that think that. I don't know if it was great. It's been a while since I watched it, but I watched it a couple times. And whenever I watched it, I was like, cliffhanger. All right, so we're definitely getting a season 2, and never happened. So the Dark Phoenix storyline was never worked as a movie. No, there's way too much stuff to do for that Dark Phoenix storyline. It was not going to work. So that's one of those things to where it would have had to been like one of those movies like what is it, Twilight and what's another one, Hunger Games, where they're like, here's our last movie, but it's two movies split into two. Like I don't even know if they would have been able to fit it all in two movies. So have you watched Masters of the Universe Revelations? I saw season 1. Is there another season? I I didn't think it was that great. So, to be honest, have you ever watched the Marvel Netflix shows? Yep. Daredevil was good. I thought Punisher was pretty decent. Uh, Iron Fist, I didn't think it was that great. I didn't think Luke Cage was that great. I didn't think Jessica Jones was that great. Again, there's other people, that they love them, so. Uh, but that's just kind of what I thought. There's no S. Okay, so it's just Revelation. Okay. They wanted to make an Alien sequel that would have ignored Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, but it never happened. Yeah, I just Alien 3 is just so awful. Just awful. And like I said, with the Resurrection, if they would have done without some of that weird stuff and just stuck to the core of like what Alien was and what Aliens was, uh to where it's like they're pirates they come on the ship, and then there's this aliens experiments going on, and then the aliens get loose, and then it's you have to try to escape, and you have to try to kill them and stuff. Uh, that would have just been a better movie. You would have watched that and just been like, that was an aliens movie. Thank you very much. You know, but instead they're like, hey, we gotta up the bar. Like they keep on like, hey, we gotta this one's gotta be bigger and badder type thing, and they added too much stuff to where it's like, I don't even. Are you a horror? Like it was like a sci-fi horror movie, but now it's I don't know. It was like cheesy. It's kind of like what they did with like Friday the 13th movies. Like you just had kind of your horror movie, and this is what it was, and then he goes to space, and all this other stuff. So let's see. John Stewart is Green Lantern in a practical suit instead of all the CGI would have been the way to go. Absolutely. But back then, everybody was CGI happy. To where, oh, I forget what movie. I don't know. There was some movie to where someone was like, "Yeah, have you seen the live action movie of whatever this?" And it's something with like tons of CGI, and it was like, "You mean the cartoon?" It was like, "No, the live action." It was like the one with all the CGI. So it's basically it's a cartoon. So it reminds me of that. Uh, Transformers Wars, Cybertron, and Fall of Cybertron games are awesome. I agree. We had so much fun playing those. The stories, or whatever you call it, campaign, that's good. The multiplayer, man. Me and Promise Sabbath Dakota, we'd team up on there and just annihilate people. So, but we both came from first person shooter backgrounds. So, uh, and this was, you know, I don't know. What this is several years ago, so hand eye coordination is better than it is now. Still do pretty good in FPSs, but not like top tier level anymore. Favorite Star Wars game has to be Force Unleashed. You know what? I've been wanting to play that again, and I go to the PlayStation Store, and I'm like, can I buy this? Just it can't be that much. Like I'm not asking for a remastered version. Can I buy this? And it's like, nope. So, and I'm like, there's two Force Unleashed games, I think, if I remember correctly. It's like, no, you can't buy those. And then there's another game. It's called Enslaved. It's kind of your Tomb Raider, Uncharted, Horizon type game. Kind of. So I wanted to play that. It was on PS3, and I was like, okay, PlayStation Store, do you have this game? It's like, we have this for whatever the Game Pass thing is or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want that. I just want to buy the game. Just let me $20, whatever. Let me just buy it. I don't want to rent games. And it's like, no, you have to pay this monthly subscription to do it. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm never playing that again. So learned that during the production of Fox X-Men movies, that Bryan Singer was not a nice person. I mean, I have no idea. So I figure in Hollywood there's a lot of shenanigans that go down. I mean, they're actors and directors or whatever. So I don't ever take the way that someone is on screen as like if they play a nice character, like, oh, they're probably a nice person, because they could be, they could not be. I have no idea. So I just try to watch it for what it is. Uh, Master Universe Revelation has 2 seasons. All right, well, I haven't watched season 2, and I'm probably not going to, because I didn't think the first season was very good. Oh, second season is called Revolution, coming soon. Okay. Sam uh, Ra- Raimi's Spider-Man 1 and 2 are awesome. Spider-Man 3, not that great. Uh, are you talking about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man's? I guess that's what you're talking about. Because the other one, uh, he only did two Spider-Mans. So yeah, I'd agree with that. Uh, I think they tried to insert too much stuff into Spider-Man 3, and they didn't develop Venom properly. And then again, the casting choice for Venom was strange. So it's not who you would really. I don't even know the Topher Grace or something. Is that his name? He doesn't look like an Eddie Brock to me. So just a weird casting choice. Uh, Also, what are the newest Venom movie, Venom whatever the two with Carnage? I thought it could have been better. To be honest, maybe I'll go rewatch it. Um, uh, that was John Favreau with The Lion King. Uh, I was saying it was a live action, but it was all in fact all CGI. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, what I was bringing up earlier about, yeah, it's not live action, it's a cartoon. Yeah. Didn't want Venom in Spider-Man 3, but the producer interfered. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I can't imagine being whether it's director, creator or writer or something, and you're like, all right, I've got this really well planned out story, and this is how we're going to introduce everything, and everybody's well developed, and then like some dude from higher up is like, we're going to change this, we're going to add this, and it just kind of throws a wrench in into the engine, and it doesn't work properly anymore. But they're like, yeah, but if we do this, then it'll attract more people, and more money. And it's like, yeah, but less money because people are going to watch it and be like, this sucks now, and they're going to tell other people, and they're not going to watch it. So actually, less money. So maybe they'll figure that out one day. Uh, what I didn't like about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that there are too many tones and too many subplots. Uh, let's see. That's the God, what's that dude? Andrew Garfield. That one. Okay, so let me think. I'm trying to think about which one. Is that the one with Electro? Because the first one was him versus the Lizard. Right. It's been a while since I watched them. So, uh, let's see. January 25th for Revolution. Had to look it up. Yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be good. I probably won't watch it though. So I'll just go rewatch Filmation. So I've got that on DVD. Have you watched Godzilla 1998? Dude, okay, so is that the one? I call it the P Diddy Godzilla. I'm trying to think of the dude that's in there from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I forget his name. I think he's the main cast in that, right? But I call it the P Diddy Godzilla just because whenever that movie came out, P Diddy did the theme song where it was like dun 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 dun. You know what I'm talking about? Uh, and so every time like they did an advertisement for that movie back then, it was always P Diddy's song, which was big at the time. Uh, or what's he call himself? I don't know what he calls himself now, but then he called himself Sean Puffy Combs, and it wasn't P Diddy anymore. Now it was Puffy or something. But back then it was P Diddy. So uh, I call that the P Diddy Godzilla. Yeah, I've seen it. So I do not like Sony Spider-Man villain stand-alone movies because they don't follow the source material. Yeah, I mean, I want to see Venom. Venom. I don't care about all the symbiotes. I like Venom. I like Carnage. I like Scream, and that's pretty much it. So, uh, you want to see them in action. Like, there's these characters you want to see them in action, but uh, yeah, I think they do get away from the source material on that, and also the fact that Spider-Man's not in there. This is it's kind of weird. Uh, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 had Electro, Green Goblin, and Rhino. Yeah, Rhino was like the last bit. Yeah, I was played by Paul Giovanni or something. I forget how to pronounce his last name. I know he's in a show called Billions that I watch. Uh, God, I'm trying to remember who the Green Goblin was in that. What do you think of the MonsterVerse? Are you talking about the original Universal monsters? Uh, if so, I like Dracula stuff. So any of the movies that involve Dracula, not just vampires, but actually Dracula, I'll give it a watch. So as far as the others, like Frankenstein's monster and the mummy and uh, the creature, like it's like eh, I just Dracula's the most interesting to me. Because it's a really good story. And even though like the Netflix, they had a series on it, it was done good. There's been several movies, been good. So it's always good on Dracula. And then whenever they do some of the other ones, like they're kind of they could be decent, they could be terrible. I've never seen one that I was just like, this is great. So I think it's Diddy Lion now. Maybe I haven't kept up with that. I know back then he called himself P Diddy. I think it's crazy that you can change your name like every decade. So I guess there's nothing stopping you to change your name every decade if you want. But uh, Garfield was okay, Peter Parker, but I hate him as Spider Man. He came off as a jerk instead of a wisecrack. Yeah, he was probably an odd choice. Once to think about it, wasn't he a little old for Peter Parker too? Or I guess is that it was supposed to be after high school, but still, he seemed like he was a little bit older for that role. So, I'm not saying anything negative about Andrew Garfield. I mean, I'm sure there's other roles that he did fine in, but yeah, probably not his best one. Uh, the 1954 Godzilla has a very iconic, whereas the 1998 Godzilla looked like reptilian xenomorph, and 2014 Godzilla updated the classic design. I love the old Godzilla movies. Like in the 80s. I forget which channel it was on, but I used to go to my grandma's house, and it would like for a whole weekend Godzilla thon, and just Godzilla movie, and then Godzilla movie, Godzilla, like for 24, 48 hours, like, and minimum commercials. It was just, we go over there and like find out, yes, the Godzilla thon or whatever, and you're like, hell yeah, we're not sleeping at all. Like we're just gonna just dozing in and out of movies as kids in the '80s, watching Godzilla thon. So they were great. The giant monsters, I am talking about giant monsters like Godzilla, King Kong. Oh, wrote in not Universal monsters. I like Godzilla. King Kong is the old ones were better than any of the newer stuff that they've done with King Kong, in my opinion. Uh, there's been several older King Kong movies, and those are pretty good. Uh, I do like Godzilla, like every form of it. I'll watch it. So, when I first looked at the Marvel character Deadpool, I mistaked him for Spider Man. Yeah, I mean, pretty close. You know, I mean, different, but I mean, I could see like whenever you first look at Deadpool, you're like, is this a new Spider Man suit? I could see how you could get from there to there. So, uh, at least with Toby, they had him in college instead of looking too old for high school, like Flash Thompson in the first uh, Toby Spider-Man movie, who already looked like he was in his late 20s. Yeah, I liked the Toby Maguire Spider-Man movies a lot more, especially the first two. Uh, the Hulk from Marvel Comics used to scare me as a kid because he was a monster. I mean, I guess. I don't know. None of the comic characters ever. I guess I didn't take them like that to where that they were monsters or whatever. So same thing with Dracula. Like I never really get scared of that stuff. Just because I just take it as entertainment as it was, even as a kid. So, and I never watched horror movies as a kid because I just, as a kid to now, like I think horror movies are just kind of dumb. Uh, like it doesn't scare me because like there's no Jason, there's no Freddy, there's no Michael Myers really. Now, what does scare me is Jaws because those suck because sharks are real, and that is scary to me. Uh, Living in Texas, I don't like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because that is real. So, and they never caught the guy. Uh, there's a movie called Zodiac, which is really good. So if you haven't watched it, it's about the Zodiac killer. It's got Mark Ruffalo or whatever his name is, whoever the new Hulk is. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal. Uh, can't think of who else is in there. It's been a while since I watched it, but Zodiac, because there was a Zodiac killer and they never caught him. That movie's scary. Uh, I remember because I had seen it before, and a buddy of mine he came over and he's sleeping on my couch because where my bed is, like I've got another couch to the side in the room, and he's over there and he's watching. And I'm like, let's watch the Zodiac. He wanted to watch it because he'd never seen it, so he puts it in. And as soon as the movie's over, he's like, "Dude, I'm not going to bed tonight." So. Uh, I mean, it's a good movie. So it's not just jump scares, type movie, where it's like silly horror. Like it's like kind of a mystery movie, on top of that, an investigative movie.
So that's why I liked it. But yeah, like movies like Jaws, like that's scary to me. So uh 2021 Godzilla versus Kong movie was awesome. Yeah, I thought it was entertaining. Uh I think they're coming out with another one soon. So have you watched the 1970s Hulk TV show? Yeah, it's been a while. It has been in the 80s since I watched it. Uh, do I remember? You know about the current Hulk? Oh, I don't even know if he's in the newest phase or whatever. What Mark Ruffalo or whatever his name is, Hulk. And then before that, they had Edward Norton. Well, before that, there was another Hulk movie, uh, which was crazy CGI. So that's even older than that. So I remember seeing that too, and I can't find that movie anywhere. It's kind of like the Green Lantern, to where it's bad, but uh, like you may watch it like it's been like 10, 15 years. You're like, let's watch this again and see if it's still as bad as what I thought it was, type thing. Speaking of horror movies, I've started getting into the Conjuring universe. Yeah. See, oh, a good scary movie series. Not yeah, movie series that I like. I do like the Saw movies. Just because there's something to figure out. Uh, not necessarily like the it's scary, because of what's happening, but it's like I watch it more for the uh all right, let's figure out, and where's the twist? Let's see if I can find it before it's revealed, type thing. Uh, it's kind of like a game, like I'm playing while I'm watching the movie. So that's why I've enjoyed those. And how does it tie into the previous ones? And did this one, was it a prequel, or was it inserted? This movie might have been the 12th one, but does it insert in between whatever 4 and 5? Those are always interesting things to me. So that's why I enjoyed the Saw movies. So even though I haven't seen the newest one that's out in theater right now. Uh, have you played with Legos before? Uh, well, yeah. As a kid, I played with Legos a ton. Uh, but in my collection, my brother bought this for me. One of my brothers bought this for me for Christmas, and I'm like, you know what? We live in the same town too. Like he lives 5 miles down the road. I'm like, let's build this together. This will be our thing. You bought this for me. You come over. We'll build it together. This is as far as we've gotten. So, and Christmas is coming up, and I'm just like, bro, you can't buy me another Lego Star Wars head, and because I'm not gonna have a collection of these things just sitting half completed. So like I was all like, I'm not gonna add any pieces until you come back over. But anytime he only came over twice to help, but he only had like 30 minutes each time, so we never got very far. So at this point, I'm gonna probably message him and be like, you either got to come over and help me finish this thing, and let's be done with it, or I'm gonna just finish building it on my own. So and don't buy me anymore. So let's see. Iron Man and Hulk are in Zodiac. Yep. There you go. Yeah. That's where Marvel got its ideas for casting. Oh, I guess go watch Zodiac and see how many superheroes are in that movie. I guess will be a good game. At least two. So uh I play Batman Arkham games. They're awesome. I've got all the Arkham games. You know what pissed me off on the last one, Arkham Knight, is I quit playing it. I never finished it uh, because I think it was Catwoman. I wanted to play as Catwoman on them because I think you could play as Batgirl as part of the DLC and play as Catwoman as part of the stuff. Uh, because I already played two games as Batman. It was like, here's another one, Batman, cool. Get in the Batmobile, and there was this objective to where you run the Batmobile into this wall, and then you jump, eject, glide, and then like kick off the wall and glide over to something else. And you had to do this to get past a certain point to unlock to where you could, progress with that part of the story. And I spent, and then you fall if you fall down into the water, then you crawl back up and you got to start it all over again. Uh, I did this one day for 8 hours straight, and at that point, I was just like, I'm done. I'm not playing this game ever again. So that irritated. Other than that, the games were fun. Uh, it was just that one part. I was like, I wanted to do this thing, but I had to get past. Like it's a certain point. Let's say 15 attempts. 15 attempts. I think that's a lot. Like you could even say 10, but 15 attempts. Like there's got to be a mercy, like rule in there, where it's like, all right, maybe there's a 2-year-old. Now it was me, but what if there was a 2-year-old playing it and it was like, hey, mercy, give him mercy, let him move past this one thing that he obviously could not get past, so he can progress his story, so he can play the rest of the DLC content that he paid for. But they're like, no, you got to get this. It's like 8 hours into it. No, you have to do this. And I'm like, I want a refund. So I hated it. Never played it again after that. Angeli Hulk. Ooh, I don't. I don't know what that means. Is that the other Hulk? Eric Bana was the Hulk in 2003. Yeah. That Hulk movie was so bad. Yeah, that's where I'm like, hey, it's been a couple decades. Maybe go back and watch it if you can find it, because I don't know if it's playing on any streaming service. So you'd have to find this sucker in like a DVD shop, like a used DVD shop, to even try to watch it. I think they tried to bury it to where no one will remember it, but it exists. Uh, Go watch it and see if it's as bad as what you remember. Dude, they promoted the hell out of that movie too. I remember gas stations, like it may not be in 7-Eleven, but one of those type of chain gas stations to where it's like you fill up with gas. There's the Hulk advertisement. You go get like a drink or whatever, and they have the plastic cups and they have the Hulk on them. Like they advertise the crap out of that movie for marketing. That might be the movie or reason why they don't do it anymore. Uh, but yeah, I remember watching that movie and just being like, "This is terrible." I've seen some terrible Marvel movies. That's one of them. So, also, I think the original Captain America movie. Not talking about the new ones. The old one where he needs a car, so he plays dead in the road, and a car stops, and then when they get out to see if he's okay, he steals their car. So I think I remember that series of events correctly. Uh, yeah, there's some bad ones. Uh, though there was also a made for TV Nick Fury movie. They had what's the dude from Baywatch? Uh, I can't remember his name. I never watched Baywatch, but I know David Hasselhoff. Yeah, he was Nick Fury in a made-for-TV Nick Fury movie. I remember watching it when it was on TV and only saw it that one time, and that was enough. Let's see. Have you watched scary TV shows like Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark? I watched when I was a kid. Whenever they first came out, uh, I like Alfred Hitchcock stuff. So Like I love Alfred Hitchcock, so he's got really good stuff. So Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I love that TV series. Have you played the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? Yeah. Uh, I think I got that game like a couple weeks before Diablo 4 came out, and I'm like, I gotta complete this. So I just poured it in. I beat it and probably got about 98, 99% of completions done in it. To where like the other 1 or 2%, I was like, I couldn't find it or figure out where it was. So I was like, that's close enough for me. I'm done with that. So it was a good game. Before the Avengers, I was into Fantastic Four, X Men, Spider Man. I mean, I still like Spider Man and X Men. I never cared for the Avengers, Fantastic Four. I'm just I don't care about Fantastic Four. The only time I ever remember reading comics with Fantastic Four was the Infinity Wars. I think it was. I had several of those issues. The Infinity Wars, I believe, is what it was called. This is this is like 80s or early 90s when I had these comics. So it's been a long time since I've had those. Uh, who's the best Spider-Man, Peter Parker or Miles? Uh, I mean, I just really know Peter Parker. Miles, the only reason I even know who that is because of the video game and that movie, that cartoon movie. Otherwise, I'm just Peter Parker is really the only Spider-Man, to me. So, have you watched the Ghostbusters movies and cartoons? Yep, you're talking about the real Ghostbusters, right? Not Filmation Ghostbusters. You're talking about. Uh, I think we're on the same page. The real Ghostbusters with like Peter Venkman and Slimer and all that. Yeah, I'll watch those. Uh, I think I have that on DVD. The cartoon series. I think I have those on DVD or have them streaming somewhere. Uh, Ghostbuster movies. I didn't watch the girl one, if that's what it's called. I don't even know what it's called. I just it's the girl one. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, so I didn't watch that one. Uh, yeah, I mean they're fun movies. I like them. The real Ghostbusters. It's a pretty good series. There's some boring episodes in there. There's some episodes in there. If I watch it, I'm just a little bit drowsy. I'll fall asleep. But there's some interesting episodes in there too. The Captain America TV movie with the rubber ears. Yeah, dude. Yeah. See, Dalton. A lot of people they don't even know. They don't even know about that movie. I need to watch Smallville again. Haven't seen it in a while. When I was a kid, I never watched Smallville. I think I've got it in. I've got it saved on something. One of my streaming services. I just like all the episodes are there. I've just never watched it. So I don't know if I ever will. I've got other stuff that I watch. Uh, I haven't seen not one teardrop yet. Toy Mafia, what's up, man? Yeah, so uh, that was kind of an unscheduled thing. I had planned because I was sorting through all my figures that I haven't opened in like months. So I'm like, man, I need to sort these things out. I'll just post some photos on Instagram, the toy haul. And then I still haven't opened like a bunch of others. And I'm like, I need to get these things on shelves. And I need to, because I'm going to be selling probably some of my Star Wars stuff, scaling it back because I got a lot of Joes. and no more room. So uh, I kind of want to get some stuff together to where I got a really big table and go do a Dallas toy show uh, at some point. Probably not this year, but have it saved up for next year whenever like a lot of people will be out at toy shows again, so that I can have like a huge booth with like a ton of stuff. So let's see. Yeah, so my plan was, anyways, my plan was to, hey, let me see if I can get this stream going. Because I haven't been able to do it with like a group like we used to. And this took me like 5 attempts to just do myself like this. Like no screen share, nothing like that. Just, you know, you guys, me and you guys. Uh, and so I finally got that to work, but I haven't got it to where the way I used to do with Cybercast to do it. So I was like, I'll just open some toys, and if there's anyone happens to pop into the chat, I'll talk to them and stuff. I haven't opened one toy yet, so been almost 2 hours and I haven't opened one single toy. But that was kind of the reason for that. So if you guys would like me to do this more often, I can. Uh, since I've figured this out, but uh, probably won't do the Cybercast again because I can't figure it out. I don't. They've changed stuff up, and I can't get it going. Plus, I did that for over 10 years, giving up a set. Well, at one point, we were doing it every Saturday night, and giving up my Saturday night every single week, and then we went bi-weekly, and then sometimes we do it once a month, bi-weekly, uh, and I would be so tired because like I'd wake up at 7 p.m. on Friday, get ready, go to work, get off work at 7:30 a.m., do the grocery shopping, get stuff settled, and maybe watch a college football game or whatever if it's college football season. But even if I try to take a nap in between that time before we go live, it's 6, I think, is what we did it at, or I think. I can't even remember. It's been so long. Uh, then I would not wake up. So I would have to stay up. And so by the time we kicked off and went live, like I had already been up for 23 hours, and dude, I just was so tired. So, but if we want to do this every once in a while, like maybe on a Monday or something, uh, or on the weekend, just like no scheduled time, like even on a Saturday, whenever I'm just getting home and like let's say it happens at like noon or something, I may do it. So we'll just see how it goes. Uh, let's see. Almost 2 hours in, and I haven't seen a single figure open. I feel the title lied to me. Yeah, man. I thought I was. I thought I was like, okay, I haven't announced this. Like I said, I didn't announce it that I was going to be going live at this certain time or anything or this day. I haven't put up a stream or a video in months, I think. So I was like, no one's going to be on. I'm just going to open my figures, mess with them, get them lined up, ready to go on their shelves, and maybe one or two people will pop in and, uh, just say what's up, or if they ask me how a figure is, I can tell them. But like I said, yeah, haven't opened a single figure yet, so been very interactive chat, which I've enjoyed. So I can feel myself lose my voice because this is the most I've talked in a long time. So I really wish Extreme Ghostbusters would get more love. New team, but same timeline as the old Ghostbusters. I don't remember that much of the Extreme Ghostbusters. So the same characters. I don't remember much of the Extreme Ghostbusters. I just remember the real Ghostbusters was my thing. So, all right. Well,
almost 2 hours. I didn't even think I was going to be on that long. I thought I would probably be on for like maybe 30 minutes, an hour, and I would just be opening figures and, like I said, maybe talking to one person. So I'm probably going to end it there because Cowboys play tonight. I got to get dinner ready. Uh, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Just sitting down, talking, chatting. Uh, if you guys, like I said, if y'all want to do it more often, we can do that. You can just, whenever this goes in video form, you just leave me a comment, um, and I'll respond to you there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time, whenever that is. So, talk to you guys later. Peace.